Yeah. Hair flip, yeah, I'm a badass bitch. I don't like it. Hair flip, yeah. Oh my god. So you guys should be happy. Oh my goodness. Hair flip. But anyways, hair flip. Hair flipping on your toes. Hi.
With the exception of my biggest hit in America, and well, actually my biggest hit in the world was What's Love Got to Do with It, and it wasn't my choice.
You didn't like it?
I didn't like it.
Still don't like it, do you, Tina?
I play with it. I can make it happen now.
You sing it in concert?
Yes.
Why
It's
did
not
you-
a real singing song. It's a fun, it's kind of a little melodic kind of a song. It was a cute little song when I first heard it, and I wasn't accustomed to singing those kind of songs.
You're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Do you consider yourself rock and roll?
Yes.
You must understand, though the touch of your hand makes my pulse react. But it's only the thrill of boy meeting girl, opposites attract. It's physical.
From Africa, and sort of our attitudes and our way of life sort of esteems from the African way, and I think like this sort of well, I'm only speaking now like from something I haven't really looked into, but I get that Africans are sort of very lazy people. They're not very aggressive. You know, they just sort of want to live off the land and live very comfortable, which is great if you can do that, you know, if you're in a position to be able to do that. But I felt that they enjoyed our performance there, but I have to be inspired by something when I go to Europe. I enjoy it because the people there are very fashionable, and it's just fun. I mean, all we do is work. We check in a hotel, and we go on stage, and we go to the airport. So you have to feel some kind of inspiration from a city, right? So when I go like to Africa, I'm very down because like the food isn't good. I don't get any really good, fantastic vibes from the people. Africans are sort of very lazy people. They're not very aggressive. You know, they just sort of want to live off the land and live very. Africans are sort of very lazy people. They're not very aggressive. You know, they just sort of want to live off the land and live very.
Ladies and gentlemen, Beyonce.
You know, every now and then, when I think of inspiration, I think of the two Tinas in my life. That's my mother, Tina, and of course, the amazing Tina Turner.
Because Ike Turner Jr. has claimed that his superstar mother has all but abandoned her family in the U.S.
I pay taxes here.
My
family is
Don't
here.
get mad. I didn't mean it.
No, I have left America because my success was in another country, and my boyfriend was in another country. And yeah, private dancer was the beginning of my success in England. And basically Europe has been very supportive of my music.
More than America?
Yes. Yes, hugely.
Hugely more. But you're a major star here. You're a superstar in America.
Not as big as Madonna. I'm as big as Madonna in Europe. I'm as big as, in some places, as the Rolling Stones.
In Europe?
In Europe.
So you chose to live there, and you didn't choose England, though. That's where.
Yes, I did. I went to England for a couple of years, and then I met a man, and I lived 3 years with him in his country in Germany. And then I bought a house in the meantime in the south of France, and I started to rebuild that. So I'm in and out of there. That's not a place where I can go often. Ike and I separated, and I could never tell the truth. Nobody really understood. And they still don't understand. But I think slowly now they're beginning to.
Did the picture do it justice?
Yes, I think in a way I would have liked for them to have had more truth. But according to Disney, it's impossible. The people would not have believed the truth, and I understand that.
They would not have believed all you had to take.
The incident allegedly happened in 1983 when Randy visited his girlfriend, Bernadette Roby, at Tina's place. Roby was a good friend of her late son Craig, and the singer was fond of Bernadette. They had such a close relationship that Randy allegedly thought the two women were in a relationship, which is why he tweeted about catching them off guard. In Armani's book, it was disclosed that one night, Bernadette arrived at Tina's house crying and traumatised, saying that Jackson was going to hit her. That's why she ran away. I can't go back to him. He knows my every movement. He follows and stalks me. I mean, I can come out of a food store or the gym and he'll be there, hiding behind something, just watching, she allegedly told Turner. Remembering her own experience with Ike Turner, Tina told Bernadette to leave Randy because it would not end well and he was not good for her. Bernadette, let me tell you something. You got yourself an Ike Turner. You better get rid of him. However, the more they talked, the more it gave Jackson time to figure out where Bernadette was. He ended up showing up in Tina's house, where he wasn't buzzed in. He allegedly jumped the fence and threw a pot over the window, jumping through the broken glass just to get in. That was when Randy went to Bernadette, asking him to come with him and professing his love. At the time, Tina went to her bedroom to grab her gun, pointed it at Randy's head, asking him to freeze or I'll blow your brains out. Jackson stopped for a second before lunging at his girlfriend to ask her to come with him once again. Tina then blew a hole over her roof then and there. Armani shared more of the thrilling yet frightening story, saying, Randy, his face a mask of brutality, charged straight at Tina like a raging bull. Still in total control, Tina moved the barrel slightly to the side and fired towards the doorway. She pointed the gun at Randy. After that situation, Randy left the house through the broken window again, with Bernadette following him. Armani's book never mentioned that Tina ever hit Randy, so the entire story depends on whose angle it's.
The toes and the muscle.
And then you had a stroke.
Then it was a stroke that came because why? The stroke was why. I don't know why the stroke was. I think I had overdone something, some kind of way. But I went to hospital to find out what this cramping sensation was. And they put me on the table for MRI, we call it. And they said the blood pressure went up. And I said, oh, it's always up, because I always had high blood pressure. And I think that's what caused it, because afterwards I felt not good after the treatment of, trying to check me. Say, well, I don't see anything except the blood pressure went up. Yeah. And after that, I went on the honeymoon, didn't come back. After that, we came back and we were going to go to another trip, one of those other trips with a group of friends. And I woke up and I said to Urban, I can't go. I can't talk. Wow. Urban called the doctor and he said, bring her in, give her an aspirin, and we'll see.
How scared were you?
Not scared at all. I just wondered why.
In the 70s, you've stopped showbiz, you've retired, you're about to enjoy yourself, you have a stroke, and then...
So then they said, only one of your kidneys are functioning. So I said, well, so what happens? He said, if you don't maintain, if you don't do what we recommend, you will probably die. So I said, well, if it's time, I felt like I'm late 70s. My mother died at 84. My sister died at 74. I thought maybe this was my time. So he said, no, we can do something about it. He said, there's a machine downstairs. I said, oh no, I'm not living on a machine.
Dialysis, right?
So we went downstairs, yes, and there was this machine standing there, and I realized that I would have to use this machine if I decided to live. No, I'm not living on a machine. That's not a quality of life. They said, no. What it will do is provide you with a cleanser for the body until we find a kidney for you. Irvin said to the doctors, can I give her one of mine? Something similar to this. I wasn't there. And then he found out that he doesn't need 2 kidneys. So then he came to me and said, Tina, you don't have to make this decision now. I can give you one of my kidneys. I said, oh, Irvin, you're young. I'm already older. It's okay. You just get used to me not being here. Oh, no, he didn't want that. So then he talked me into him taking on 1 kidney. So I said, well, no, I have to talk to the doctors. And then I talked to them about Irvin and what will happen to him, because he was still quite young. And I did feel like I was older. I was already in my 70s. So why should I take the kidneys from a young man and let him finish his life? That's what I felt
ill
like.
due to a stomach or intestinal cancer, a stroke and or rejection of a kidney or liver transplant. According to unconfirmed reports, Tina Turner may be having some health challenges. According to Glenn Cosby's V103, a social media post from Clinton Coleman claimed that the legendary singer is fighting stomach cancer, suffered a stroke, and her body is rejecting a kidney transplant she already had. It's important to note that Turner's camp have yet to comment. However, in the singer's recent memoir, she does note that she had a kidney transplant and suffered a stroke. In the book, she also allegedly details being diagnosed with intestinal cancer in January 2016. Turner's doctors treated her cancer by removing part of her intestine, but her kidneys worsened. Her husband gave her one of his kidneys, and a successful transplant occurred in April 2017. She explained in the book, my body keeps trying to reject the new kidney, which is not uncommon after a transplant. Sometimes the treatment involves spending more time in the hospital, and it comes with some unpleasant side effects, including dizziness, forgetfulness, anxiety, and the occasional bout of insane diarrhoea. After suffering a stroke, the What's Love Got to Do With It artist learned that she had kidney failure and was diagnosed with vertigo. USA Today reports. In January 2016, she was also diagnosed with intestinal cancer. A devastating turn in her health led her to sign up for an assisted suicide program, also following her kidney's debilitating condition and a surgery to remove part of her intestine. My body keeps trying to reject the new kidney, Turner wrote in My Love Story, which is not uncommon after a transplant. Sometimes the treatment involves spending more time in the hospital, and it comes with some unpleasant side effects, including dizziness, forgetfulness, anxiety, and the occasional bout of insane diarrhoea. At that point, Turner wrote the future looked so bleak to her that she considered requesting assisted suicide. I began to think about death. If my kidneys were going and it was time for me to die, I could accept that. It was okay. When it's time, it's really time. I didn't mind the thought of dying, but I was concerned about how I would go. One of the benefits of living in Switzerland is that assisted suicide is legal, though the patient has to inject the lethal drug herself. There are several organisations that facilitate the process, including Exit and Dignitas. I signed up to be a member of Exit just in case. As we await an official statement from Tina Turner's camp, let's all pray for the best amid the reports.
Often.
Where's home?
Zurich.
Why Zurich?
Because my boyfriend was moved there to run the company.